She suffers from such a rare disorder of being unable to just be a human.
I think she's a malignant narcissist who is a truly terrible person.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I just think she's crying for sympathy, playing the victim.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard.
And there's also no sympathy to be granted for this lifestyle that she's chosen to live.
I appreciate what hard work looks like. I like working hard.
Well, according to their tax documents, they work 1 hour a week.
And I love being that busy.
Make it end. Make it end. What is this?
You're never going to convince anyone that you're authentic.
You're right. You're right.
Reality is she's a grifter. Fake it till you make it.
The Brits are onto you. America's onto you. The world at large is onto you.
I'm searching for something to like about her, and it's so hard.
It's too much for me. There's only small doses of that podcast I can consume.
Meghan, how are you?
How are you?
I know you always make it about me.
What? Everything they do seems so manipulative, calculated, PR motivated, money motivated.
Give us like one strip of authenticity.
Candace Owens just destroyed Meghan Markle, and it was all because Meghan tried again to show everyone her real side.
Who are you trying to be?
But instead of people seeing someone honest and open, Candace and lots of other critics say it was just another big act, carefully planned to make people feel for her and, of course, get tons of attention.
She really wants attention. And so this is really her biggest PR problem that she thinks she can hire consultants to solve or hire Netflix to solve, but it's not going to work.
This all blew up after Meghan went on Jamie Kern-Lima's podcast. That interview was pushed as Meghan being totally herself. No makeup, no script, just the real Meghan, or so they said. But that idea quickly fell apart. People started saying her tears weren't real at all, and that she was just pretending to be open about her feelings.
Also is pretending that she's crying. Like we zoomed in just to see there isn't a tear in sight. Look at this. Where's the tear?
Candace Owens was a main voice saying this, pretty much asking if Meghan can ever be truly honest, or if everything she does in public is just a planned performance.
Unable to just be a human. I've never seen this sort of before. I've never seen someone that struggles to just give us like one strip of authenticity.
When Meghan sat down for that now infamous podcast chat, the big promise was no makeup, no script. We were supposed to finally see the real Meghan, the one supposedly hiding behind all the usual headlines and careful PR. But from the jump, Candace Owens and many others were calling foul. Candace made it plain. This wasn't some brave, honest moment. It was, in her eyes, just another calculated performance, carefully designed to look like the real deal.
This is a joke, and I'm tired of some of these media outlets continuing to elevate this person.
And it wasn't just Candace. It seemed like everyone had an opinion, and many agreed with her. They watched Meghan and saw something that felt staged, not sincere. Was this truly Meghan without all the polish? Or was that no makeup look carefully crafted too?
She had the hair blown out. It was perfect. I do not believe that she was makeup free there. She didn't have eye makeup on, which is a different thing.
For Candace, the issue goes deeper than just one podcast. She feels there's something fundamentally missing with Meghan, a real connection to being a normal person.
She suffers from such a rare disorder of being unable to just be a human. Do you know what I mean?
This feeling of inauthenticity isn't new. Many have felt this way about Meghan for a while now. As Maureen Callahan bluntly put it,
You will never convince America. The Brits are onto you. America's onto you. The world at large is onto you. You're never going to convince anyone that you're authentic.
the podcast was supposed to be a turning point, a moment of genuine connection. But for Candace and many others, it just reinforced the idea that what you see with Meghan Markle is rarely the full, honest picture. During that podcast, there were moments Meghan seemed to get emotional, especially when she supposedly read a letter she wrote to her kids. Her voice quivered, she wiped away a tear, and even made a comment about how it was nice not to have makeup on for moments like these.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't expecting that one. This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on.
But for Candace Owens and many watching, these weren't touching displays of a mother's love. They screamed performance. The timing, the delivery, even the convenient no makeup mention, it all felt a bit too perfect, a bit too produced. The internet quickly lit up with accusations of crocodile tears and orchestrated vulnerability. People pointed out that this emotional outpouring seemed designed to paint Meghan as a sensitive, caring figure, perhaps to gain sympathy or boost her relatable mom image. It's like some commentators said, it's a go-to move.
Well, how do you be a mother? Oh, I know, you go crying about how much you love your kids.
This isn't the first time Meghan's emotions have been questioned. Critics argue there's a pattern of her playing the victim, even when surrounded by immense privilege. Megyn Kelly has been particularly vocal about this, suggesting it's a deliberate tactic.
She simultaneously plays the victim. My castle's too small. The queen is mean to me. They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore.
And Kelly doesn't mince words when it comes to her overall assessment of Meghan's public persona, often tying this victim narrative back to a deeper, more calculated strategy.
She is a malignant narcissist who cannot get enough of herself.
While Meghan might have hoped these tearful moments would show her real side for many, including Candace, they just added another layer to the argument that she's an actress who never quite leaves the stage.
I mean, this is all a stage. This is all just Meghan Markle's stage. We're expected to buy it.
One of the biggest things Candace Owens constantly hammers home is Meghan's relentless, and in her view, totally failing quest to be relatable. It seems like every move is designed to make us feel like she's just one of us, but it often backfires spectacularly. For Candace, there's a simple reason why so many people don't connect with Meghan.
If you don't like her, it's not your fault. It's because she's extremely unlikable, okay? She has the non-it factor.
Candace often points to Meghan's almost unbelievable life story, the one Meghan herself seems to be selling, as a key part of the problem. It's this idea that she transformed almost overnight.
She wants us to believe that she went from being a D-list actress to becoming Martha Stewart in 3 years. Like, this is totally authentic.
That leap just doesn't ring true for many, and it fuels the idea that we're not seeing the real person. Candace even suggests that Meghan's past acting career didn't take off precisely because of this core issue of authenticity.
I think I understand why it is she was a D-list actress, because she can't even act like herself.
Maureen Callahan echoes this, arguing that this deep desire for relatability and love is something Meghan desperately craves, but just can't achieve.
The one thing she is dying to sell to us is relatability, and she can't get it across the finish line.
Callahan also ties Meghan's current struggles for widespread appeal back to her earlier career, suggesting the seeds of this problem were always there.
This is why she was never going to be more than like a D-list actress on a basic cable show.
All these attempts at normalcy, whether it's the casual clothes or the no makeup podcast, often come across as just more PR. It's this strange mix. She was an actress, then a princess, now a supposed lifestyle guru and entrepreneur. Michael Knowles summed up this confusing public persona.
She's stuck because she was an actress who became a real princess, who wants to be an actress again, but has to continue to pretend to be a real princess.
It's this jumble of roles and the perceived lack of genuine feeling behind them that leaves many people, including Candace, feeling like Meghan isn't just unrelatable, but actively trying to pull a fast one. A big part of the Meghan Markle narrative, and something Candace Owens often zeroes in on, is this image of the super busy, incredibly hardworking entrepreneur, mom, wife, and global philanthropist. Meghan often talks about her packed schedule, managing product launches for her lifestyle brand, writing newsletters, planning social media, editing her Netflix shows, all while being a devoted mother and friend. It's a picture of someone constantly on the go.
Here she just talks about just what a incredible work ethic she has.
Writing the newsletters and writing the social media captions. What's the photography that we want to do? What do I want to wear for those shoots? And being a mom and a wife and a friend.
Work ethic must just be grueling. Writing social media captions, deciding what she's going to wear, being a mom.
But for Candace and other critics, these claims of tireless effort often land with a thud. They argue that when you're living a life of extreme privilege, with access to resources most people can only dream of, complaining about being busy writing Instagram captions just doesn't sound like genuine hardship.
One of the most privileged people on the planet, she still won't talk about how hardworking she is, which includes coming up with Instagram captions.
This perceived disconnect between her words and her reality is a recurring theme.
We never hear other real leaders talking about how hard they work. You just see it in their actions. But for Meghan Markle, of course, she's the exception.
Perhaps nothing highlights this more than her infamous comment about being in the trenches during her time as a working royal. For many, this was a baffling statement coming from someone living in literal palaces.
But she said she was in the trenches when she was in the British royal family. Girl, you lived in a castle. Like, you got a princess title.
Adding another layer to the skepticism, reports have surfaced based on alleged tax documents from their Archewell Foundation, suggesting that Meghan and Harry perhaps only dedicated about an hour a week to it in certain periods.
Well, according to their tax documents, they work 1 hour a week.
While the specifics are debated, these reports definitely don't help the working incredibly hard image. For critics like Candace, it all feeds into the idea that Meghan's version of hard work is a world away from what ordinary people experience, making her complaints sound tone-deaf and, once again, inauthentic. Beyond the questions of personality and hard work, Candace Owens and other critics point to a trail of what they call professional failures and questionable business dealings. It's one thing to talk a big game, but the results, they say, just aren't there. Take the much-hyped Spotify deal, reportedly worth a cool $20 million.
When she first did her Spotify series, and I think that deal was $25 million, Spotify lived to regret it immediately.
It was supposed to produce a series of uplifting podcasts, but the main series that actually came out of it, Candace Owens absolutely slated it.
It was breathy. It was awful. I listened to one episode. It was just scripted nonsense. It was like, what are you doing?
The critics weren't kind either, often calling it self-indulgent and over-rehearsed. Eventually, the multi-million-dollar dream seemed to fizzle out.
Spotify, I think, ended up canceling the rest of their deal. There was no use. There was no money in it.
The reason it's failing is because it was just a horribly dull show.
Then there's her foray into Netflix lifestyle programming. Her show, reportedly focused on cooking and hosting, was met with brutal reviews, with many critics calling it an ego trip and completely out of touch. The audience scores tanked, and it seemed like another grand venture that failed to connect. This pattern has led some, like Kinsey Schofield, to directly challenge her image as a successful businesswoman.
She is shameless and she is exhausting. You are not a successful female entrepreneur.
These perceived failures have fueled even more serious accusations.
I can list more fails on both of my hands. Where's American Riviera Orchard? What happened to Spotify?
Some commentators have gone as far as to label Meghan a grifter, especially with reports surfacing about her now-defunct lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, or its earlier iterations like As Ever, allegedly selling products it didn't have and leaving customers waiting for refunds.
You sold inventory that you didn't have on asever.com. People are still waiting for their refunds, when the reality is she's a grifter.
For critics like Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly, these business troubles and grifter accusations tie into a larger narrative about Meghan's alleged motives from the very beginning, that her marriage into the royal family was a calculated move for status and financial gain.
I'm over it. She's not important. She married for money. It's very clear she bagged the elephant. She was thrilled. She became a, quote, princess.
Why do we have to be nice for a woman who clearly went over to get herself a prince, to bring him back, to give her access to this lifestyle that she would have never had?
Kinsey Schofield also suggests that Meghan's actions, particularly shilling products, are a far cry from the traditional image of royalty and reveal her true intentions.
This makes her look greedy and shallow, and I think she's showing us exactly who she is and what her ultimate objective was all along.
So, from Spotify to Netflix to her own brand ventures, the story painted by Candace and others is one of overpromise, underdelivery, and a constant whiff of something not quite right. It wasn't just Meghan Markle who faced the heat after that podcast interview. The host, Jamie Kern-Lima, also got her share of criticism.
Are you in love now more than ever?
Are you in love? How happy and beautiful is your husband?
Many listeners and commentators, whose views often align with the kind of scrutiny Candace Owens brings, felt that Lima's approach didn't exactly help the authenticity claims. In fact, some said it did the opposite. The main complaint was Lima's almost relentless, over-the-top enthusiasm. Her praise for Meghan was described by some as gushing and cheerleader-like, coming across less like a genuine interviewer and more like a pre-programmed hype woman. Every word from Meghan seemed to be met with wide-eyed amazement or effusive compliments from Lima, which many found grating and, frankly, a bit suspicious. This dynamic, according to critics, killed any chance of a real, probing conversation. Instead of challenging Meghan, or even just fostering a balanced discussion, the interview felt more like an echo chamber. It was as if Lima was there purely to affirm Meghan's narrative, to nod along and agree with everything, which only reinforced the perception for many that the whole thing was a carefully managed PR stunt. People online pointed out how Lima's reactions often mirrored Meghan's emotional cues almost too perfectly, making the entire exchange feel staged and, for some, painfully awkward. This kind of setup, critics argue, is exactly what you do when you're trying to control the story, not when you're aiming for genuine, unscripted realness. So, when you boil it all down, Candace Owens' take on Meghan Markle is pretty straightforward. She believes Meghan has this deep, almost fundamental problem with just being real. Every attempt to show vulnerability, every tear, every claim of authenticity just comes across as another performance, another carefully crafted scene in the ongoing Meghan Markle show. And it's not just Candace. A huge number of people look at those real tears and carefully worded vulnerable moments and see them as purely calculated PR moves, designed for maximum impact and sympathy, not genuine emotion. It really makes you think about the whole game of celebrity in this day and age. There's this constant pressure to create and maintain a perfect image, but at the same time, people are craving something, anything, that feels genuinely real. When those two things clash, when a curated image feels completely fake, the backlash can be intense, as Meghan has clearly experienced. It's almost like a cautionary tale. The harder you try to sell authenticity, the more people might doubt you have any to begin with, which leaves us with a big question, and honestly, it's one that only time might answer. Can Meghan Markle ever actually break free from this cycle of perceived inauthenticity? Is she trapped by the image she's created? Or is there a way for her to genuinely connect with people and convince them she's not just playing a part? What would it even take for the public, especially critics like Candace Owens, to finally believe her? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments.